It's SC2CTL time.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Welcome. You have just witnessed the pre-show. Aaron just showing us one of the closer ladder matches that he's had and was pretty excited about that. So we just wanted to fill some time up with that while we waited for some people to show up and got our levels correct and all that jazz. But now everything is put together. We are ready to get into the meat of the game. So hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is week 1 of the playoffs for
Woohoo.
StarCraft 2 Community Team League. We are nearing the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, today's the first day we do have to say goodbye to some teams as we've reached the
Yes.
playoff stage, and the pool stages, everyone keeps moving forward, but once we come to the playoffs, the teams who lose are out of the league. At least
That's
this
right, and
season
we've
of the
already
league,
had to
anyway.
say goodbye to a number of teams who weren't able to make it into the playoffs. But tonight will come down to the elimination. There is no losers bracket. There is no coming back from behind to win. You either perform or you go away. That's the way that it's going to work in the playoffs. And previously, we have had the revive rule applicable in the group stages. However, now that we're in the playoffs, that is no longer the case. So you cannot bring players back who have lost previously if your team is facing up against a match point from the other team. So you basically have to be very careful on who you send out when and make sure that you save your big guns for when you appropriately need them.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because that's one thing I forgot about when I was looking at these replays, because that's been a pretty big deal so far in the pool stages.
Yeah, even last week we had a crazy match where the revive rule was used twice in the last group stage of the last match of the group stages. One team went up. It was 4-0 right away, right?
Yep, it went 4-0.
And they brought back one of the guys who had lost before, and that guy went 4-0. And then the other team comes back with a revive to bring back the first guy who went 4-0. So it basically came down to a best of 3. I'm
Yep,
not going to spoil it, as you can check out those video on demand hopefully tomorrow. We're still
tomorrow.
trying to get those cut. But you can check that out, and those were some great games. You will enjoy them if you take the time to do it. But for now, we've got great games between teams Overdose Gaming and Team SMI for the first round of the playoffs.
Yes, indeed. And we've casted both of these teams before, and both teams very impressive. I think
Hmm.
Overdose Gaming we haven't casted since week 1 of the pool stages.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and we do have some bios from some of the players, so it's going to be NYX versus Days. It's going to be a PVZ in our first game here.
Yep. And Nix is from Overdose Gaming. He is a master player, and his coach had to say that he develops his own builds, which makes him very hard to predict. You can't necessarily go into his base, look at what he's got, and immediately know what he has because his builds are slightly different than the norm. And for the SMI team, we have Days. His name is Carlos Grijalva. He is 24 or 22 rather. He started playing in Brood War and joined SMI when he was 15 back in the Brood War days. He plays solidly on ladders and in tournaments, and apparently he's had trouble in the past with clan wars, but recently has been training and has improved his ability to perform in those settings. So we will see how he is able to perform tonight. He is the first out for his team, so we will see how far he's able to go.
I'm really excited for these games as we're getting into the playoffs here, because it's the first time that there's really something on the line. I mean, there were always points on the line,
Mhm.
but once you're really on the brink of actually being out, it becomes real clutch, real cutthroat as you get into those elimination games. But just before we get started here, I want to give a couple shout outs to Das Keyboard as the prime sponsor for SC2CTL, who will be providing 5 keyboards for the winning team. So that's pretty cool. So if you get a second, go out to Twitter and tweet at Das Keyboard. Tell them thanks for sponsoring at SC2CTL and that you enjoyed the cast tonight. That would be great. Also, as such, follow at WingnetSC at Gallegation to keep up with what we will be casting as we go through the league here. Our normal casting days are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, but we may have some switch-aroundery or add a day here or there, depending on how the playoffs end up going to get all these games casted. And we are planning on doing the semis and finals live in a whole day event.
That is the plan. We will keep you posted as more details arise on those, but let's get into these games.
Let's do it. Our first game in NYX versus Days in the lower right corner is going to be the Red Zerg from Team SMI. It is Days.
And in the top right-hand corner, showing his prestige with the keyboard, typing out the good luck and have fun, representing Team Overdose Gaming, it is Nyx.
So a PVZ, we've seen quite a bit of PVZ lately as we have gone through these games. We haven't seen much Terran lately. I'm not sure why that is, because it seemed like we were on quite a run there in the SC2CTL where it was almost every game had a Terran in it, and a lot of TVTs as well.
That's true. It seems like the Protoss and the Zerg seem to be dominating at this point, but there are plenty of teams left to represent the Terran. I do want to point out, Mr. Wingnut, that we still have the timer up on the overlay, if you want to pull that off.
Whoops. I'll take care of that. Got it.
As these games are getting started, feel free to say hello to us in chat. We like interacting with you as we are able. We appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Also, if there's any minor snafus, do let us know so we can take care of it. Looks like Daze is going to be doing a intuitive scout here with his first Overlord heading directly towards the base of NYX, and as he gets here, he's going to see this pylon right out front, so he's going to know the timing of the build of NYX exactly.
That's right, he's going immediately into that hatchery too, which is a very common build against Protoss, especially on such a large map. Taking that hatchery first and then getting that spawning pool, as you typically don't see a lot of early aggression out of Protoss against Zerg these days. It is possible, of course, anything's possible in StarCraft, but the more typical builds have been including an expansion fairly early.
Yeah, it's definitely the case in this game, as it's going to be Nexus first, although Daze has not been able to scout that yet. He's hovering around the Overlord trying to maybe get up, but he's going to see the timing of that forge knowing that it's quite late, so he's probably just going to assume that there's a Nexus being produced already, otherwise that forge would be done.
That is right, and he really doesn't want his Overlord to be seen there, I don't think, as that could give away his positioning on the map, which Nyx has not yet scouted out.
I'm not sure. He did venture out there a bit with that Overlord, allowing the little flyer helper to land on the lower ground, so it's possible that probe could have seen the Overlord, but it's hard to say as we didn't catch that.
It is hard to, I mean, just because it goes on the map too, it's hard to say whether the player actually saw it.
Yeah, but now Daze is redirecting the second Overlord towards the top of the position of NYX so he can see more clearly what goes on. Cannon going down as well as the gateway. Nexus is going to be finishing up here, so we'll see what kind of tech that NYX is going to bring out. He does only have one gas, which is highly unusual, especially since it's just now going down, but when you do the Nexus first, a lot of players are putting 2 gas down almost at the same exact time, so they're both done in mining before this Cybercore finishes, which it looks like it will be now as he's putting down his second one so that you can get that Mothership Core and Warp Gate right quick.
Daze now sending a couple of lings in scouting positions, trying to find any proxy pylons, and is able to find Nyx's probe as it's coming down to do just that.
Yeah, that probe clearly trying to put down a pylon of some kind, as that's the timing with the Cybercore about half done. Queen going to be able to take that out along with the help of those Zerglings, so no pylon for NYX.
And no scouting really either. He didn't get into the main. He has no idea what's going on there. Now Daze getting roaches, so that's going to be completely blind for Nyx. He's now sending out a Zealot to go see what he could see.
Yeah, that
be greeted by some of these Zerglings here.
It looks like he does have the other Overlord here too at the third base to see if there's a third base going down. But speed about to finish here as the one gas is only being mined in the main base of Daze.
And Daze doing some great micro there, going to be able to pick off this Zealot without losing a single Zergling there.
A lot of roaches in production here. 7 roaches now in production. Zergling speed about to finish as well as 6 lings. So looks like Daze is going to want to have some heavy duty aggression coming up as that Overlord is now spotted by that Stalker.
Does not give chase, however.
Roaches head across the map now as 4 Zerglings are out in front of the natural of NYX, getting ready for a big push. More Zerglings following up, more roaches, 14 more lings in production. Daze really wants to put the hurt on here to NYX, as he doesn't really have a whole lot at this time.
No, but I think he smells some aggression coming. He does have 2 cannons at the front now and did just get a sentry. However, you'd think he'd be wise to try and get more than one of those sentries out. And this is going to be some pretty impressive timing here, as there's just not a whole lot out here for Nyx.
Yeah, the roach is now going to come up and will be doing some target firing on the cannon. All the gateway, the wall is open, so some lings do get in. They're going to take up the shots of those cannons as the roaches are targeting that down.
The force field was a little late, did allow some of those lings to get in, and now it goes down, and more lings are streaming in. Oh, but there's a roach
Oh, that
plugging
roach.
the hole. And now he micros back to get all those lings in there, and that's going to be disastrous as these cannons are going to fall without finishing. The sentry's going down, the stalker's going down, and then all these probes are going to follow.
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, if you're going to be doing a Nexus first build like this, you need to get lots of sentries early, because he had the cannons. If he would have had like 3 more force fields and the time to warp in another stalker, so he would have been able to hold this off. This is going to spell the end for NYX.
Yeah, there's really nothing left here for him to do. There's the only gateway that he had is now empowered. He can't make anything out of that. The warp robotics facility, rather, is there, but it's not producing anything, and it wouldn't have time to get anything out that would be significant at all.
Yeah.
So we will see a GG here, inevitably.
Looks like NYX just kind of gave up the ghost here, because he does have a lot of money, but he just stopped producing units. But, I mean, he went so much tech so fast. He put down the Robo and the Twilight all at the same time, so he just didn't have any units whatsoever, and there's the GG. Yeah, the biggest thing, I mean, we see that play all the time. The 2 base all in, so to speak, even though it wasn't really all in because there was a 3rd base put down behind it. But, I mean, to be able to stop that huge influx of units, you have to be building almost exclusively sentries. He had no mothership core either.
No, there wasn't really a lot there to defend. I don't think that he really sniffed out heavily that there was going to be that much aggression. I think that he anticipated some aggression, but the fact that there was just so many units so early on charging his gates really before he was able to get much of anything out kind of caught him off guard, and as you saw, there was a little bit of some complaining regarding the playstyle at the
As
end of
Bubba
that
Raleigh
one.
says, it's the QQ and then the GG.